Hello and welcome to the last of the trilogy month. Yes, we're down to the final week, which means we're down to the final trilogy. And that final trilogy is the original Bionicle trilogy. So, yes, there are technically four films in the Bionicle universe, like there was with the Men in Black films last August, but I only will be covering the original trilogy because that's what I remember the most. So yeah, this film does a hold up 20 years later, over 20 years later, and the answer is I still had fun with it. Even though it's an hour and 15 minutes long, which I was surprised at. Because I remember watching this quite a bit on VHS back in the day. I may not have had many Bionicles, if at all. I know my cousin was more into Bionicles and he had a bunch growing up. But for me, my only experience with the Bionicle universe was with this movie, as well as Wednesday's one, The Legend of Motunui, which is a prequel, um, and stuff. But yeah, it was originally four movies. It was three movies. Then it came out with another one later on, which the main character was voiced by Michael Dorn of Star Trek. But the main thing is one, two little Matorans, Jala and Takua, find the seventh Toa mask because one of the main things in the Bionicle universe is there are six Toa of different elements. Um, and so they find this seventh mask, the Mask of Light, hence the title, and they have to go on a journey to find this seventh Toa. And whilst they're doing that, an evil force known as Makuta, who the six Toa spent ages trying to defeat, um, has come back and he's made these new things called Rockshi, and they go and start decimating each Toa's village. Um, and then starts to turn one of the Toa evil, the Fire Toa, whose name is escaping me at the moment. I literally watched it last night. I could have uh, filmed it right then and there last night, but it was midnight and I did not want to bother my neighbor. But yeah, he gets a slight nick on his mask, and then as it progresses, he gets more and more poisoned, which turns him evil to the point where some of the other Toa, the Toa of rock, air, and water, have to heal him, and then they do, and Takua leaves for a bit for Chala because he's the one who is hailed as the chronicler to no Taku is the chronicler, but Jal is the one who's tasked to go on this mission to find the seventh toe, and he brings Takua, the person who originally found the mask, along with him. And yeah, eventually it turns out it's Takua who is the seventh Toa after Jala's death. He puts on the mask and becomes the seventh Toa, and within the span of like 5 minutes, goes down, fights Makuta, fuses with Makuta, who has the Mask of Shadows, um, reawakens Motunui, and uh, dies, but then is immediately brought back, and that's the end of the film. Um, so obviously, it continued on in like books and stuff for the Bionicle universe, and then as I said, we get two prequels before we get to uh, the first back to the first film and stuff. Um, but it's also weird because I know, I it was through a TikToker who was going through the entire story of the Bionicle universe, stuff I didn't know, and it turns out the entire Bionicle universe takes place in one giant mech. Yeah, it's one big giant robot has all of this in it, which is weird. Watching it, it was weird because I'm like, it's weird to see a giant robot who's essentially a living person have a volcano in him with actual lava, water, ice, living people. So it's a little weird on that, but I still enjoyed it, after 20 years, because I think it's been 20 years. I don't recall the last time I sat down and rewatched it. I've been wanting to for a while, ever since I started collecting, and this gave me the opportunity to do so. Um, but yeah, it's interesting, all right. I enjoyed it. I grew up on it. I remember watching it a crap ton on VHS over and over and over and over again. And I'm glad that I managed, that I've rewatched it. I enjoyed it. The CG, early 2000 CG doesn't look all that bad. Being honest, um, it still looks good. As far as I'm aware, it does not have a Blu-ray or 4K release, but I've seen fans have upscaled it to be HD 1080p slash 4K. So yeah, I mean, then all three movies. I'm not sure about the fourth one, Legends Reborn, is available on YouTube. Um, but I like to watch mine physically rather than on YouTube for free, assuming that the discs actually work. But yeah, that's going to wrap this video up. I will be back on Wednesday for my Bionicle 2, The Legend of Matanui review, which is a prequel. So this and the third one, Web of Shadows, takes place before this one. So we're going to travel back in time with this one. Um, so yeah, this one, it's definitely been over 20 years since I last watched it. But these are easy watches. They're all an hour and 15 minutes long. I can't remember how long the fourth one is, but the main three are about an hour long. So yeah, I shall see you all on Wednesday for the new Bionicle review.